Welcome back. I'm here with my makeup bag and I'm feeling well enough to put on some makeup just to look a little alive. I don't have any plans or anything on account of I have been spending the past few days a little sick. Just a cold, I think. But on top of that, I also found out that there are a lot of fires happening here on the west coast of the United States, and the air quality is real bad where I live, so I think that's also like contributing to how I have been feeling. Global warming. She's a trip, am I right? So since my last Shop My Stash video was 10 hours long, I decided to divvy this up into maybe 2 or 3 parts. So this is part 2 of question mark. So I'm gonna be doing kind of a natural look today because I think I'm just gonna stay home and read. So with the number of products that I chose for this, I gave myself some options, some different options of what I might want to do look-wise. So maybe some more like fall inspired, maybe more a little natural. Today I'm feeling a little glowy and natural, maybe. Like a subtle glow. I think a subtle glow is good because I don't feel like sitting around with a, you know, super glowy base that no one's gonna see, and also my cat try to snuggle me and I get full of cat hair. But just I don't feel like that today. So we're gonna be doing something pretty natural. So before I do my base, I'm going to be going in with the NYX Brow Glue. This is one of my favorite brow products I've ever tried. If you're into a lifted look or even that laminated effect, I think this is a really good product from the drugstore that performs just as good as any of the high-end brow glues or what have you. Yeah, so it's sticky, it's tacky, but it really gets the job done and it holds. You know, that's the main ticket. It's a clear gel-like tacky substance. There doesn't really have to be anything crazy technology formula wise, you know. I think some brands just do a little too much, and look at the difference it does to my facial structure, just lifting my brow a little bit. Like, no brow glue, brow glue. And I let that set a little bit before I go in with anything else. And at the end of my makeup, if I powder, I also powder my brows. I just usually powder my brows regardless because it does dull down the shine a little bit, or like I have so many like little baby hairs and stuff, it just like smacks into them, so it prevents them from being disturbed by my little bangs here. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start with complexion here. I'm gonna be taking my Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade 3 to start my base. I use this a number of ways. I like to use this as primer, as a mix-in with other products, and I also like to use it as highlighter. It's super versatile. And when I use this in this order here, where I'm using it more like a primer, I do find that I need to use less concealer because the reflecting properties in the product does kind of take away from any sort of discoloration or darkness that I may have in my skin. Kind of like a distraction in a way, and it does provide like a really nice glowy base, and other makeup sticks to it really beautifully as well. So yeah, this is almost too dark for me now. I think I'm finally starting to transition into my colder month shades here. But yeah, I just want to try and use it up since it is so, it shears out very beautifully. And as you see, that it really transforms your skin. It's very beautiful. I'm going to be taking the Ilya, I'm going to shake her up here, the Super Serum Skin Tint, and yeah, this is still a little too light for me, and I've had it for a bit. I'm not sure how long, under a year, but I still can't figure out how much I need. It's really hard because it's a dropper, which I guess is fine like for sanitary purposes. It's very runny, but it's also very thick. Like it has a very strange texture to it. But I like to kind of make it match me a little bit better currently with the Drunk Elephant D-Bronzi drops, which is also a product, if you watch my previous video, that I am trying to use up because I have had it a while, like that, so long that they've completely changed the packaging. So I feel like it's going to be off. Like, it's just, it feels like so much product. And I used to just, I feel like it gets more, like that looks like a lot of coverage, but I swear it like kind of blends out. Like it even leaves like kind of a weird white cast on the back of my hand when and it might be the mineral sunscreen in it. Mirror, I'm using my viewfinder like a noob. When I blend this out with my hands, I feel like it doesn't, not that it doesn't look as nice, but I feel like the amount of coverage it gives me looks not very natural. Like it runs the risk of looking not blended as well as it could, which is, you know, I think the opposite of what you want in this product, because there are a lot of like tinted moisturizers and serums and stuff like that that I really, really enjoy, that I do prefer using my hands with, because it does blend out and looks more natural that way than it does with either like a sponge or a brush. I'm not anti-hand. But anyway, so yeah, I like to use this with the sponge, and that looks pretty good. Like it's not a bad foundation serum thing. Like it's not a bad base product. It's just a little finicky, and I feel like I always use too much. I don't know. And this shade, when I am finally in my like wintertime shade, it is a pretty good shade match. Like the shades in this line are very nice. And it does have a scent that people complain about, but and it does dissipate in time, but I like the scent, so that's not a complaint of mine either. Okay, now, concealer. I'm using the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard, which I also believe might be that's still a good shade match for me. I thought I was getting a little too pale for it, but turns out I'm still okay. And I'm just gonna do a little spot concealing here on my neck. I used an oil with my, I don't know how to say it, Giash, you know, the thing you rub on your face. And I think it broke me out a little bit. Because I definitely was like doing like the jaw massage thing and like underneath the neck. And I broke out randomly. So, and I don't really break out right there. So yeah, this product, anyways, Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, it's fine. Like it's not my favorite, and I don't really see how it's radiant at all. I'm gonna take it along here because I do get kind of red right here, and also it allows for a more snatched contour, if you will. Let it sit a little bit, kind of marinate in my skin in areas. I'm gonna actually blend out the forehead because I don't need a lot of coverage there. Yeah, like this is fine. I probably won't repurchase this. And not like that I like dislike it or hate it. I just have other products that I deem to work better. Or more, not even better. I can't say better because I'm sure that this is perfect for somebody's skin type. I'll just say that it's not ideal for my skin type at this current time. You know? And I do feel like on me that this does run the risk at times to become cakey. Like if I use this for like some actual like serious coverage, it does run the risk of becoming cakey on me. Yeah, I do feel like that concealer is on the edge of expiring because I do feel like this is, it feels like there's a lot more on my skin than there usually is. Oh, I didn't really get that little area there. Yeah, I think it's definitely this concealer and not the Ilya Serum skin tint thing. Yeah, I'm happy that I'm using this up because, not that it's breaking apart on my skin, but it just doesn't look as on par as it used to. I'm taking the Nudestix Bondi Bay bronzer, and I don't want to go too ham with this, so I'm not going to apply it straight to my face. I'm just going to take this little brushy brush here and dab slightly above the hollow so that it mixes in with my blush nicely. I don't dislike this bronzer at all. I think it's a pretty good color, especially as you're losing your tan in the colder months of the year. I think it does adjust nice. It has a kind of a yellow, Bondi Bay kind of has a, I don't want to say a yellow undertone, but it's not quite as warm or even cool as some other bronzers that I have owned or currently do own. Like, it's not as warm as the, say, Sun Melt, but it's also not a contour. So I would say that this leans pretty yellow. So in the winter months, I do like this a lot. I'm gonna put a little bit more right here. I'm gonna put some on my nose too, and then up on the brow bone with whatever's left on the brush, because I think that that provides a nice natural looking contour. And that looks nice. Okay, I've decided. I'm going to use the Glossier. And I don't really squeeze this out, I just kind of smear it on the back of my hand. Because if you squeeze it out, like, a lot's gonna come out and it's gonna, you know, be a little bit much. So I really work this into a brush or sponge, whatever I'm using. It works perfectly fine with both. And I'm going to take that. And I really like to drape my blush. I don't like to put it like right in the middle because I do find that I have more of like a roundish face. So I prefer to take my blush up high to bring more narrowness to my face. But you can do whatever you want. Everybody's face is different. Okay. Yeah, that looks great. I always kind of forget how much I really enjoy this product. And it's pretty old too, like this is pretty old. And it still performs just fine. Yeah, that's nice. So this is the first time I'm going to use Italian ice on camera. Ooh, it's so soft. It's very buttery, super buttery. And I'm just going to put this all over the lid. Kind of has like a peachy, not too peach, but it leans peach, I'll say. And it's super affordable product. It's the Ulta brand. And I think it's only $9 and it gives you a beautiful, simple one and done wet looking eyeshadow. That's it. That's it. That's all she wrote. All right, I went ahead and did my mascara off camera because it's not interesting to watch, you know, but I used the Mercier Caviar Volume Mascara, which might be discontinued. I have no idea. Somebody help me. Somebody tell me, please. Yeah, so there is that. So I'm conflicted on whether I want to use this Nars Forte France highlight or not. Like, I'm enjoying my skin and this could really make or break my look, but there's something in me that wants to use it. But not down here. This is something I'm learning about myself now, is that I don't really like taking powder highlight down here. I like it up here. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I like to use powder highlight with a kind of a more a looser brush. That's synthetic. I don't like to use natural hair because I feel like natural hair really gets a little excess in the product. So I'm just gonna take it right up here. Yeah, okay, that's not bad. Yeah, because I feel like once it's down here, that's when it can, this one on me at least, can pull icy. So I'm going to, and normally I would put my highlight underneath my blush, but since I used a cream blush, I'm just going to lightly, and then maybe I'll just lightly tap any type of excess onto my cheekbone here so it kind of melts in. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay. Maybe this does have room in my life after all. We'll keep playing with it. We got all month. We got all month. Yeah, that's complexion and eyes are already done. So let's try and figure out what we're doing for lips. So for this, I'm torn between lip gloss or Clinique Black Honey. I think this is pretty natural, pretty effortless looking. Oh, let's do Black Honey just for shits and gigs. Because there's no like strong colors on my face that are gonna clash with this, and this does pull a little berry on me, and I'm not using any type of lip liner today. So with this, I like to see how much that shows up. I like to focus this on the center, like Cupid's bow kind of area, kind of define that, like up into my vermilion border. I like to flip it when I do this. And then on the bottom. Am I looking like Liv Tyler yet? See how berry that turns on me? And I don't hate it. It's just, you know, not my favorite. I think it kind of makes me look like Snow White in a way. Like that kind of like contrast between my skin and my hair. And then all of a sudden there's like these flushed, bitten lips. You see? Like not terrible, but still pretty natural. Like I think it goes just fine with everything. So, okay, so that is the first look using my October makeup bag from shopping my stash earlier this week. And I think this is a very easy, obtainable, everyday look. I think that this worked out just fine, and all of the products are performing beautifully, except for my Nars concealer, because I think that it is on the verge of being expired, which is totally fine. This is why I'm using it. So yeah, we'll see you in part 3.